Welcome back to our ongoing Microsoft Excel for Data Analysis Bootcamp 3.0, and in today's section we are going to be looking at pivot table. What is pivot table? Pivot table is used to summarize and manipulate large data sets quickly and efficiently. It enables you to create dynamic reports and visualization without the need of complex formulas or extensive manual calculations. And the quick overview of what a pivot table is and how it works is that it requires a data source. It requires a data source and pivot table feeds. So the pivot tables use a drag and drop interface. It's just a drag and drop interface to organize your data. You have columns known as feeds, which you can drag into different areas. And some of the things you can do here is that you have the aggregation and calculation, dynamic analysis, summary and visualization, filtering and slicing, and refreshing your data. So it's a powerful feature in Microsoft Excel. And here is the feed. In this feed we have the core part, which happens to be the pivot table feed itself, and we have the results part. So these are the features. These are the interface look like. Without further ado, let us move straight to Excel to see what we have to do. Now, here is my data source that is called it says data 44. In this data source we have let's inspect. To inspect this, all we need to do is shift control enter, control enter, and it will take you to the control shift and enter. That will give you the last row. It has to be, if we check, you want to look at the amount of this row is about 1001 rows. So this is a large volume of a data set. So basically about this data is just a sales data. It's a sales data that has the customer name, the gender, the country, the product name, product category, quantity, price, and amount. So it's just about how many columns, about 8 columns and 88 rows. As you can see now, it is difficult for us to see this volume amount of data. Now there's another thing. Let me quickly introduce you to another thing. Imagine that I have to be scrolling through this data set. As you can see, I can no longer see the names of the columns. So imagine you having to work with large volume of data that is even more than these 1000 rows. Now there is a powerful feature in Excel that can make me to either fix my row, the top column, or my rows. Now to do this, all I needed to do is just to say, come here and let me highlight this place, Ctrl B to bold, and what I wanted to do now is that I want to, as I keep scrolling, I want to be seeing this is my column header. So I need to highlight it. I want to fix this column header. Once you highlight, you come to view. When you come to this view tab, here in this group window, you will see this that says freeze panes. What it does basically is you can freeze a portion of the sheet to keep it visible while you scroll through the rest of the sheet. This is useful for checking out data in other parts of your worksheet without losing your headers or your labels. So once you click this one, we have these words, these three options that says freeze panes, keeps rows and columns visible while the rest of the worksheet scrolls based on correct selection. Freeze top row, keep the top row visible while scrolling through the rest of the worksheet. And say freeze first column, keep the first column visible while scrolling through the rest of the worksheet. So let me click freeze panes. Now I have freezed the panes as it is now. Once I keep scrolling, can you see that I don't need to lose what? My sight. I don't need to lose my sight. I just freeze this place. Let me Ctrl Z. Let's go back. I can as well unfreeze. Now once I unfreeze, can you see it's no longer what? Freeze. Let's go back to freeze top rows. Now what I just did is to freeze my what? My top rows, which can be likened as my what? My column header. So once I keep scrolling, so I don't need to be bothered of which of these column I am currently in. I can see that once you are scrolling down, you can see that what I have fixed my top rows. That is how the top rows works. And once you come here, you can unfreeze panes as well. I've unfreezed that, and you can also freeze the first column. Now freezing the first column is that it is only this column that is going to be what? Is going to be freezed. So if I move, let's say we move further from here, for instance, can you see now I am in the last words, in the last column, which is XFD. As you can see, I can still see my words, my first column. So this, when you have to freeze your first column, this is common during financial modeling. It is mostly used during financial modeling. So this is how it works. Let me go back to my, all right. So we can as well unfreeze panes. So this is how you can what? You can freeze either your column, your first column, and your first 14 rows, including your column, or the row header itself, or your first column, depending on what you want to do. Now back to what we intend to do for today, which is pivot table. Like I said, pivot table is used to summarize large data sets. Imagine we need to analyze this data set that is almost 1,100 rows. Now if we should start using for instance our basic arithmetic now to say, okay, we want to check the average, the mean, the max, and the likes, it will take us quite number of time, right? But in order to skip things, to make things faster, we will use the pivot table. How do we activate this your pivot table? You come to your data tab here. You come to your insert tab, and here you have the suggestion that say what? Pivot table. So once you use this drop down, it gives you some other suggestions from table range or from external data source, depending on what you want to do. If it is an external data source, like if you click this external data source, it will ask you that you need to choose your what? Connections. Where is your connection located? File on this computer, file on this network, file in this workbook, depending on where your collection is. If it is from table, you have the table options. Depending, right? What we are after is what? We are connecting from table or range. So you click this. Now what you see is that once you click that, you have these dotted lines that encapsulate your what? Your whole table. And the name of this, like I said, this worksheet is named. It is called the what? Sales data. And you can see the reference in here. So this reference is simply telling us that it ranges from what? A1 to H, from column A1 to what? H1001. So we have 1001 rows in this data set. It will now ask you Where are you going to put this pivot table? Is it a new worksheet or existing worksheet? The difference is this: if you are using a new worksheet, all you simply need to do is just to come to this location. You come to location and you press this. Sorry. You come to pivot table, this new worksheet. Where is our, I'm using a new worksheet. Where is the location? Here is my what? Here is my location. Oh, sorry. Cancel. Go back to pick. Now, this is where we are, right? If I'm using new worksheet, I have to tell where am I loading it. For instance, this is not where I'm supposed to load this. I'm not interested in this. Existing worksheet, new worksheets, I have to load it. If I press OK, a new worksheet has been added, but I'm not interested in that. So if you are using a new worksheet, automatically Excel will give you a new worksheet. I don't want it in a new worksheet. I already have an existing worksheet that is called the analysis worksheet. So all I needed to do is to go back to my insert pivot table from range, existing worksheet, then location. I come to this place, it has picked it, and you press. Oh, my reference is not. And choose this place, press enter, and then OK. Now you have this new worksheet. So this is the result part that I showed you here. This is the result part, and this is our core part. Now going back, you have this your pivot table fits. Now you might not have it the way I have it here. Just might come fixed. Let's say for instance, I can fix this feed. If I want to fix it, you need to highlight to bring it back. Here I have it, and you can say what? You have different options here. Feed section and areas sections tagged. If you want it this way, you see it changes. If you want it this way, feeds only, you can do it. If you want it as areas only, area section only 2x2, where you have this tagged in area section. This is our area feed. Area section only, one feed. These are the different options, but in most cases you must have it this way. Now to activate it back, all you need to do is press your pivot table, and then you have it like this. This is your pivot feet. Now going forward, we want to summarize our table, right? Here you have the pivot table name. You can give it another name. You can call it if I'm interested in seeing the total customers in this data set, I can rename it as customer. Now can you see that automatically the feed has been updated, right? Going further, give me some minutes. I want to plug my gadgets. gadgets. All right, going forward, so I've renamed this to be my what? My customer. Like I said, for you to reactivate this, all you needed to do is on your result feed, click on any part in within your result feed. Then you have the what? The pivot table feed is going to be activated. All right, so now let's say I'm interested in seeing the total number of customers here. All I needed to do is to drag it here to rows, right? These are the customers, and these are the customers in the what? In the feed. But I want to see the total number and bring it to value. The value, right? So let me put it, let me remove it from here. It is telling me that we have what? We have 1,000 customers in this what? In this data sheet. We have 1,000 customers in this data sheet. So we can let's name, okay, let's go back. Let me copy this one and press it here. Control C and Control V. Now I have this is the customer, so I can rename this as what? As number of what? Of customer. No of customers. So I've renamed this to be what? To be no of customer. As you can see, it's also what? Reflected here. So this is how powerful. And then here you also have some other breakdown. You have some other breakdown or some other options rather. Move to report filter. Move to what? To row labels. Move to what? Column labels. If you move to report filter, it comes to the what? To the filter table. To the filter area. Here, if you click this one to move to row labels, you have it what? You have it as your what? As your row labels. And you can also drag and drop. You have it in columns. So once you have it in column, you can see that what? Each of the customers are listed in what? In columns. So it's as simple as this. If you want to remove this, all you need to do is to what? Drag it and drop. Then you've cleared the what? You've cleared the feed. So like I said, it is a what? Is a what's it called? Drag and drop. Is a drag and drop what? Interface. Here as well, let's remove this. Remember that initially we didn't have this what? This pivot table in our within our menu list. So immediately you activate your power pivot, which is your pivot table, you will have this what? This contextual tab. Once you click on it, can you see? You don't need it. So you have this pivot table what? Analysis. You can click on pivot table analysis. So all the things you need to do here, you have it. Your field header, your buttons, your field list, you have your pivot charts, recommended pivot tables, you have your feed items and the likes. These are used for calculated feed, solver order and list formulas. You can move your pivot table, you can select, you can clear, change your data source, you can change your data source, you can refresh this. And okay, what else? You have the insert timeline for analysis, you have insert slicer. So these are the things we'll be looking at when we are doing our project. You have other options here: generate, get pivot data. You have other options. So these are the things you can equally play with. Remember that I said that the total employee here is what? It is 1,000. Let's go back to our source data. Let's add more data here. Let me add more data here, and let's call this one Hezekiah John, male. I want to update this data. Nigeria, laptop, category is electronics. The category is electronics. Quantity, let's say I purchased 5 laptops. At what price now? Let's say I purchase each of these at 1,500. So my what's equal now? What's going to be the total? The total will be this amount multiplied by quantity. I press enter. We assume that this is the total amount, right? Let's go back to our analysis here, and let's go to pivot table analysis. Let me refresh all. Can you see that this field has been what? The new field, which is Hezekiah, this updated name that I added now, has been what? It has been automatically updated. So the more data you feed to your data source, you can simply come back to your pivot table analysis, contextual tab here, and once you refresh, it automatically updates your table. So this is how powerful pivot table is, right? So we use it to automate our analysis in Microsoft Excel. Going further, like I said, you can rename this to be what? To be customer name. Here as well, you can remove feed, find value settings. In the value settings here, you can come back here and change the custom name. What custom name are we using? No of customers. No of customers. Automatically it has updated itself. Notice that once you click any area outside your pivot table result pane, automatically it will be what? Override. Excel will override it until to activate it. All you needed to do is just come back to what? This is your field. Then you reactivate your what? Your pivot table. Right? Yes. Going further, instead of having to keep loading this time to time again, to save myself all this stress, all I needed to do here is what? To copy. So you can copy a pivot table too. Just basically saying Control C, come back here and what? Control V. clear all. So here to activate define range format delete. Let me delete this one. It's not okay. So here Control C and Control V. Why is it not activated? Control X delete. Clear all. You can copy and paste. Control V. Why is it not activated? Excel can be funny at times. Okay. Let me duplicate this. It's not. I wanted to copy. So what am I saying is this? Instead of me having to come back here and say, okay, I need another pivot table, existing worksheet. What's the name of the worksheet? Here, I'm now picking this place, saying, okay, I can quickly what? I should be able to copy one pivot table from one place to another. Now, this is pivot table 4, right? I can rename this now. I can say this one is I'm interested in gender. This is the gender pivot table. So I want to see the total gender. To see my gender, all I needed to do here is what? To bring the gender, drag your gender to the rows area, and then to see the what? The count. I'm interested in seeing the total. I want to see the demography, the breakdown of the demography. All I needed to do here is to bring the what? The name. Bring the name here. You bring the customer name field. You bring it here. Now, this is how it works. If, let's say, depending on the kind of data you are working with, if you notice here that we did not have anything like customer ID in this our data set. We don't have anything like customer ID in this our data set. Suppose we have a customer ID in this data set, I will have used the customer ID as the what? As the key here. So the best I can do is to bring the what? The customer name to get the what? To get the count, the breakdown of these words of the gender. Let me remove it. If we should let's bring gender itself here. We still have the same thing. Notice that female is 493 and the male is 508. So you can either use the gender, you can use a column against itself or use another column. So depending on which one is suitable. So this is the count, and you have it here as count of customer, and you can rename this as what? Gender count or whatever that suits you. So look at it from here. In this value feeds, you have all different kind of what? Quick analysis you can do. You have the count, the sum. If you are interested in the sum, you use the sum. It is 0 because it is not possible for us to have the what? The sum of gender. it is insane to use that. So you have the sum, you have the count, you click OK, it gives you the breakdown. You have the average gender, that's insane. Maximum gender, that's insane. So you need to understand your data type before using any of these words. Quick analysis tools you have within your pivot table. So we are interested in count, right? You can also use summarize values by words by this, or you use show value as. You can use show value as no calculation, percentage of grand total, or column. But we have the no calculation. You have percentage of grand total, percentage of column total, percentage of row total, percentage of, and you have the words percentage of parent row totals. These are all the ones running total in. These are financial analysis. Rank smaller to largest, rank largest to what? Largest to smallest. These are for financial analysis, index, and the likes. So what we are interested in is what? When we get to this point, I will show you how you can use all these ones. We are interested in a count. To click OK. Count of customer. Yes. So it's the count of customer. The count, and you say as gender breakdown. Gender breakdown. You click OK. Here you can also hide, or you sort. You can sort and you can filter using any of these. And how do you filter? Look at this now. Cancel. Control Z. If I want to filter, all you need to do is to what? Right, left click. Then you have these what? The filter. You have these options. If only I'm interested in seeing only the female, I can click OK, and I will have the what? Only the female breakdown. Going back, if I'm interested only in the male, I will deselect or click the male and press OK. Can you see now? So this is what? This is filtering. This is what? This is filtering. So you click. If you want to sort, you click OK. You have it back. Then if you can also filter by using label filter equals to, these are logical filtering. You don't need all of this here. Most especially in this our use case, we don't need it. We can, so then you also have value filters. Does not equal to top 10. We don't need it. Okay, I can show you where we need it here when we get there. Then you have these words, sort A to Z. Then you are sorting from what? From A to Z. That's for sorting. And if you want to sort from Z to A, you have it. Male comes before female, but normally female should come before male. That is what? Filtering and sorting using pivot table. Another thing you can do is more sort options. Once you use these more sort options, you can decide to want to sort by what? We only have gender. You can sort descending or sort using gender breakdown. So what this one does is that you are sorting using this column. When you press OK, it doesn't have what? Any change. It doesn't have any effect, right? So it depends on sort A. We have sorted from Z to A. And then you can sort in what? In ascending, and you have ascending order, which is ascending A to Z. You click OK. Can you have it? You have it normal way. So that's how it works. This is just giving us the what? The grand total, which is used in what? In analysis. The grand total, you can decide to off this grand total here by simply coming to design. When you come to design, you see these what? Subtotals, your grand total. You can change it off for rows and columns. Now, once you off for rows and columns, you no longer have the words, your grand total. Go back here, go back to design. On for rows and columns, you have it back. On for rows only, it is only the rows that will be affected. And if it is column only that you want, you will have it here. So depending on your preference. In most cases, you can turn it off. In most cases. So that is that for that. If you want to see the subtotal, do not show subtotals. But here, the subtotals is just telling you the what? The total male, the total female. We need it. So we are not offering it here. That's for subtotal. Show all subtotals at bottom of groups. You can, because of this what we are doing. There's a place we can make use of this, right? Yes. Show all subtotals at the top. What this one will simply do is what? It brings subtotal. This subtotal here will be at the top. Let me see where we can use it. This work here. All right. Now, look at this feed. Let me highlight and bring it here. Let me bring it here. Look at this feed now. Here we have the breakdown of these words. We are now looking at the breakdown here. Using what? 2 feeds. We want to see breakdown. Gender by country, right? This is the breakdown. And here we have the female band and we have the male band. This plus sign here is just you can use it to what? To hide and what? To view. This is just for hiding and viewing. So you can decide to turn it off. Just you will have only the words, the aggregates. You want to see it by what? You are interested in only seeing the grand total. You don't want to see the words, the breakdown. You can hide it, but if you use this minus button here, just press it, then you can see the breakdown. You have the what? The granularity. You have the granularity. You can see that the female, in the female distribution, Egypt custom, the total number of female from Egypt is 103. Ghana is 80. Now, what we are just looking at now is that we are looking at it at what? In a detailed level. So that is how, because I am interested in seeing the words, the gender breakdown by country. I can go, let me go here and I'm coming, insert. Let me name this feed gender distribution by countries. Now this is gender distribution by countries. You have, this is the breakdown using each of these category. Unlike here now, let me duplicate this field. Control C. Now, look at it. Here, let me activate this feed and take away country. Look now, here we can say what? Gender distribution, customer gender distribution, or customer gender distributions. This is for this now. Look at this. This, we are looking at it, just the overview, the summary of the customer gender distribution breakdown. But let's say we are interested in seeing, we want to see the what? The detailed breakdown by country, right? Here we have it. So let me remove the quantity. Now, here we are now seeing it as a what? In more detailed breakdown. We are interested in seeing the analysis pertaining to the gender distribution within our data set. We can see the breakdown of female category is what? This is the breakdown for each of the countries here. We have Egypt, and here you have the what? The distribution, the value. The value for Egypt is what? For female is 103. While the male band is what? 100. Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa. Right? In the male breakdown, we are looking at Egypt has 100. Ghana has 85. This is the breakdown by what? By country. So, this is how you can use multiple field. Going back here to our pivot table analysis, our design. Let's say we are only interested in seeing the... Now, you have this subtotal. These are subtotal. Why this is a what? Is a grand total. So let me deactivate my grand total. I don't want to say my grand total. Once I off it, the grand total is no longer what? It's no longer visible. Right? Good. Let's say, look at this subtotal here. This is the subtotal for each of this category. If I'm interested in seeing it at the bottom of the table, all I needed to do is to what? Show all subtotals at bottom of group. Then it has been what now? Cascaded from this top view down to this place. This is more meaningful than before. That is one option. The second option is show all subtotals at top group. If I want it at top group, by default, you will have it as top groups. So depending on your preference, so I'm just showing you what you can do here with all of this. Do not show subtotal. I'm not interested in subtotal. Right? So let me activate my grand total. So I want to see now here. I'm only interested in seeing the total grand total. I'm only interested in seeing the grand total in this analysis. I'm not interested in seeing the grand total for each of these category. So you will use show for columns only. If you use on for rows only, you only have the rows here. These are the rows. So if you are interested in seeing it as for rows and column, you activate rows and column. Then it gives you the breakdown, the total breakdown. And if you are interested in seeing all for rows and columns, you off it. So it depends on your what? On your preference, right? Going further, looking at this, we can also change our report layout. Show in compact form. It's already in a compact form as it is. I can change it to show in outline form. Now, what the outline form does is that it gives a what? A row. You have it in multiple rows. Now, another row has been added. You can see the gender. You have the column as its own separate rows, and you have the what? The gender breakdown. So this is in what? In compact, in what is it called? In outline form. If you want it in tabular form, you will have it what? You have it in form of a table. This is now in form of a what? In form of a table. By adding these what? These what is it called? Grid lines. Grid lines has been what? Has been added to it. Let's go back. If you are interested in having it as a repeat all items labels, you will just be having it as female, 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 female. This looks so insane, right? You don't use that. This is bad in analysis, so don't do it. Then do not repeat item labels. We don't want the items labels. These are the what? Are the items, so we don't want it repeated. So I think here is this form is okay. The best form, the best report layout to use is this your words. Make sure you have it in a tabular form. It makes your work more words, more digestible, but it depends on the requirement though. You need to understand the requirements. That is that for that. If we come to this other one that says the blank rows is insert blank line after each item. These are the blank lines here. So it's more or less like saying you are having a page break, right? Yes, it's more or less like having a page break after each category. So let's go back to this place. Design. I'm not interested. Remove blank line after each item. I'm not interested in what? In black line. But in something like this, yes, if I'm to give a report on this, I will use what? Blank line. I will remove a what? Blank line. Right? Yes. I can now activate my grand total. I'm interested in seeing the grand total. I'm interested in seeing the grand total. I'm interested in seeing my subtotals. I want to have it at the bottom. I'm having it at the what? At the bottom. You can see female total is this and male total is this. You can see that your report looks more beautiful. Going further, coming here, what we can do again is say design. I can remove show row headers. Look at the row headers has been deactivated. This is row headers. Can you see the row headers? These are the row headers. You can have it, your column headers. You can off the column headers. And then banded rows. Do you want it as banded rows? Something like this. These are called the banded rows. This is just how you can format your pivot table. Banded rows. Right? Go back to design. Then you have your what? Branded columns. Do you want to brand your columns? So all of these are just the options that you have. Let me remove line. I don't want to see this. Remove all blank lines. So depending, yes, this is good. Then now going further, here in the pivot table styles, this is where you can format your table the way you want. You can choose this, any of these formats. You can play with any of these formats as it suits you. You can play with light, medium. You can clear all rouge. You can just have it as a normal table as it is. Ctrl Z. Let's say I want to transform this. I don't want to see all this filter. Let's off filter. All I need to do is analyze table and where is the filter? Come to this place, design. Okay, we can't have it here. Insert slicer, filter. Okay, let's leave it. We can up the filter here as it is. Now, let's say I don't want to see it in this form. I want to have it as in a more appealing way. All I can do is just to say equals to this and press enter. Then you can right click, Ctrl R. You have it this way, and then can we drag down? Here you have this 0, 0, 0. You can take them off this, yeah. You can off this, this one as well. You can off it, so you have it as a what? Rows and table. You can off this one as well. Look at the way it is now. So I've extracted all this information, so I can come here and redesign it. Let me say I want to make it more appealing. I can just say, depending on my organization preference, I can have it something like this. Come to this place, give it more table, make it bold. This I can put a line break, tick outside border, right? You have it as your grand total. Then these ones as well. You can fill it. You can decide to fill it. You can fill it this way, the way it is. Yeah. This, you can bold. Are you getting it? So these are some of the things you can do. So if I want to report this now, so this is a report total, grand total. So I can change this one self. This is our grand total, I can call it. I can just say total gender, whatever. So it depends on you. Can just do all sorts of analysis here. Now that is one. So this is another. Can you see the transformation? I transform it from being a pivot table to a normal table. You can see this is no longer a pivot table. So coming back to this place now, see this way. Let's say I'm interested in analyzing this table. All I needed to do is come to this place, your pivot table, and then pivot chart. You have this your pivot chart. You want to see the distribution. You can use your stack column chart. This is a cluster column chart. We have a bar chart. Which one is more suitable here? Histogram is not suitable. So you have your column, your pie charts. No, you have this. You can have it in different form, 3D, 2D. So here to just transform, and then you have it this way, this, or use your pie chart. So you can have it like this. Use your column chart and press OK. Now this is your what? Your pivot chart. This is pivot chart, right? This is now your pivot chart. You can see, you can break down, you can off the feed, remove, hide all feed button on chart. We have hide all feed, so we can filter this. If you want to see mail, you only have the what? The mail. You have the mail, right? Yes. If you want to filter by country, you can filter by country, cancel. You can all. Okay. So if you are interested in seeing the distribution based on country, let's say Egypt, you have the words, you have the breakdown, right? And these are the breakdown. This is the breakdown. You go back, you select all, press OK, and all, OK. This is the distribution. This is the gender distribution. So this is quick analysis that you can do. You can minus male, the total male and female distribution. Can you see now? If you want to see it in detailed form, you press the plus button. Here, what we can do here, grid line. If you don't want to see the grid line, you can turn off the grid line. Do you want trend line? You want to see the trend distribution? Exponential, we don't want it. The way it is, this, right? Error bars. Do you want to see if you are interested in seeing the error bars? If you are not interested in seeing the error bars, the data table. Now the data table will now bring you the breakdown for each of these words, of each of these country. Egypt 103 female. So we are not using the data table. We are not using the data table. That's for data table. Data labels. This is you having it here. So this is to call the words the axis. The axis, we have the primary axis and the primary horizontal axis and the primary vertical axis. The primary horizontal axis is here, is your footer, while the vertical axis is this side. So you can take that what? You can take it off. Then you have more options that you can play with, right? Let's bold this one. Come here. I'm interested in bold. You want to bold the text, this, yes. You can even off the line, the fill, no fill. We have as no fill. So these are the words. This as well, you can format data series. Format data series, you have this. You can increase the bars. You can reduce the bars. Series overlap. The width, you can increase, you can reduce the width. So let's 70. So I can increase the width. That is for the series option. This is the bar, the fill, automatic. This is what you have. Blue. You can change the color to orange. You can change it to any color that you wish. Right? You can see how it is changing. That is the color. The transparency, if you want it to be more transparent, you can have it this way. So this is just for you to play with. Then here you can have what? Do you want a solid line? No. Then you pick the color and choose. No. No, we are coming to solid line, no solid line, gradient line. Gradient line is all this. Present gradient is this. You can choose, and you mix your color. You can mix your color for this. You can choose blue, purple. For this, you can choose something like this. Transparency, flat, all those. So these are the things you can actually play with, right? So that is that for this. Now you see the way it is now. So, and you can represent each of these individual bars with different words, with different color. For instance, if you can give Egypt their color, right? Yes. Ghana, you can give it a separate bar color. So Kenya, and another thing you can do is you can use picture. You can use the country flag for each of these. You see here, we have picture or texture fill. If you pick picture, insert picture source. So from file for images, from stock image, online pictures, you need to use this option. You need to be what? You need to be connected to the internet. So you can use the country flag for each of these. So these are the things, let me see. These are the things you can just do to make your what more visual appealing. So this is what these are meant for you to play with. All these are meant for you to play with, right? So this is this. You can off this, delete, and you have only these ones, right? So this is how powerful pivot table is. Can you see the way we just summarize this table now? We can see the breakdown. Now, another thing we can do here is this, right? Let me remember that we renamed this. Let's go back to design, to pivot table. This is gender. I can bring in what is it called, right? A slicer. Let me import slicer. Now, look at this slicer now. It depends on the field that I'm interested. Let's say I'm interested in seeing the country. Or let me say I want to see the purchase, product category by country using slicer, and press OK. These are all the products in this slicer, in this particular data set. Let me click accessories. You will notice that it is becoming so dynamic. Let me bring it here for us to see. Let me reduce this for us to see, right? Let me hide. Okay. Now, look at it. This thing is becoming what? More dynamic. When I choose this apparel category, can you see it is changing? We are now having the breakdown based on what? Product category. You can see that in Egypt, the people that belongs to this category is 15. Look at the breakdown. Books. Look at the number of books. From this analysis, we can say the female Kenyans are the what? Are the most widely reader in these words, in this data set, in this our analysis. Why? You could see that the numbers of female that purchases these books, 18. Look at the male. The male happens to be what now? 15. Look at the grand total for Kenya. The grand total for Kenya. Okay, we don't have it in that granularity. Okay, we don't have it in that granularity. All right. So electronics, these are the slicer works. Can you see how powerful your pivot table is now using a slicer? Now, one beauty about this slicer is that I can modify this slicer. Let me go to slicer here. Here, you see the slicer option. We have the slicer settings. In the slicer settings, this is the name of the slicer, product category, and then display header. The display header is still the product category. Ascending A to Z, descending Z to A. Use custom lists when sorting. Hide items with no data. Visually indicate items with no data. Show items with no data last, or show items deleted from the data source. So these are the options, the slicer option settings you have. Let's cancel. Still on this slicer, you can connect. I can connect this slicer with any of these pivot to any of these our pivot table. But as it is, we only have one single pivot table that we are looking at the moment. Look at it. Accessories. It is connected to this place. It is changing, right? Once you clear, you have it. Once you filter, you clear your filter. So let's say I only want to connect this thing to these to these two tables. I want it to be connected to these two tables. You will come to report connection. Now, in this your report connection, remember that when we started, each of our pivot table, I gave it a name, and here are the names. As it is, this slicer here is only connected to the gender slicer. If I want it to be connected to this customized slicer, it will be connected. All I needed to do is to click this one and click OK. Now, let me filter. Can you see that the total number of customers, in this product category is 215. And here is the words. I'm now looking at it in a more detailed picture. So we can see by breakdown. Those in this category are these people. Egypt 24, Ghana 8, and what have you, right? If I change it back to apparel, it has changed, right? 187 customers belongs to this product category. Books 118, and you can see the breakdown even using a chart. Notice that when I am filtering using this slicer, this table here is as well changing. Why? Because this table, this range that you are looking at, is extracted from our pivot table using the equal sign, right? I just extracted it and I say female and I press enter. It returns whatever. So this is part of cell references that I taught us at the beginning of this bootcamp. So this is how powerful all these things are. As you can see, they are dynamic. So this is how you can use pivot table, pivot chart, and slicers to dynamically analyze your data in data analysis using Microsoft Excel. It is so powerful. If you master this, you are on top of your game. So like I said when we started this bootcamp, one of the most vital area that you need to watch out for as a data analyst is you understanding Excel functions pivot table, your pivot charts, Power Query. We get to Power Query. Your Power Query. Once you understand this aspect, once you are grounded in these 4 aspects, you are good to go when it comes to data analysis using Microsoft Excel. So now let's turn back to this slicer. Let's say I'm interested in, I can format this slicer as well. You can expand this slicer. Let me redesign this slicer. To redesign this slicer, I will come to this slicer contextual tab here, and you can change the color. You can see the color. The color is changing using any color that pleases you. Then you can come down to this place and show slicer styles. Here, this is where you can change anything you want to do. Let's say your header, you can format the header only, give it a color or a font. You can change any of these your fonts. Do you want it as regular, italic? You want it bold, italic? This is how it will appear. This is the header we are talking about. This, what size do you want? You can play with it here. Strike through, you don't want to strike through. Do you want to underline? You don't want to underline. Color, you can give it an automatic color. Let's say I'm interested in giving it, let me give it this color or whatever, depending on your taste. You click OK. Then you click OK. Can you see now? This is it. Wait, let's go back to that. Then you activate. This is how you can activate. Can you see that? I just activated it, right? I just activated this. So you can have it this way, but I bet you don't do it this way. Let me go back to any of these, right? So as you can see, how many columns do we want? I want to have it in like 4 or 2 columns, depending. Here is in 2 columns. So this one is more readable, right? Yeah, it's more readable. Then what is the height and width? You can increase the height, you can reduce the height depending on you. The width, you can increase the width depending on your taste. The size, the slider size itself, if you want it to be more bigger, you can do it. The width, how big do you want it to be? You can do it. So it's just about formatting all of this. You see, you can scroll down, you can have it this way. Then the width, you reduce the width. You can reduce the width depending on you. So these are the things you can do with this slicer. So let's say option, slicer style, all this button, I can edit it. This is the header we did the other time, right? Yes. And I'm interested in seeing it as when data is selected, select item with data. It's talking about this. Selected item with no data. When there is no data, how do you want it to behave? You can format it. These are all the different formatting styles that you have you can do with your slicer. Let's say when I hover my mouse, hovered selected with data, and I can format border. If I want to put border to it, you can do all sort of border, and then you have it this way: non-border, outline border, inside border. It is left for you, so you can work with it here. The color, what color do you want? when you over, let me say I want this color, then the fill I can use white, right? Fill effect, how do you want it to look like? Two colors effect or one color effect, depending on you. Vertical, this is how it will look like. Diagonal, this is how it will look like. Diagonal down. So you can play with all these stuffs here, right, to get yourself familiar. Look at the sample. This is how it will look like, depending on you. Once you click OK, and can you see the way it will look like here? Press OK. If you want to, you can set it as your what? As a default slicer style for this document. If you want it as a default slicer for this document, you can do it. Just simply click this and press OK. Then you come here. Can you see what I have just done? This is what I have simply done. So you need to take your time, right? So you can master all these stuffs. So it requires what? Constant practices. So this is how you can use your what? Pivot table. Let us go ahead. This is going to be a long video, right? Yeah. So let me go back. So this alone itself, it can be your analysis. So you can come to this sheet, dashboard. You can call this one dashboard. And let me off view and grid lines. I want to off my grid line. I can go ahead and import this slicer here, Ctrl X, and paste it here. This is the slicer, right? You can come here, Ctrl X, and break and put it here. So your dashboard is not something bogus. You can have it this way, and this table, I can bring this all of this table, Ctrl X, come here and place it somewhere here, and yes, I can have it up here. So just left to you, right? So your report can be as, your dashboard can be as something as this, and then you can bring your slicer here, whatever title. Let's give it a title. You can off the title self and just give it a general title here. So that's how it works. So you can see this is a dynamic, this is part of what we call dynamic dashboard. Can you see how it flows? This is part of what? Dynamic dashboard. Alright, so watch this video and just play with it. Okay, so this is simple. This is a simple dashboard. This is a simple report, and it call it dynamic. Can you see it's a dynamic report? It's a dynamic report. I can even bring this one here and say equals to this, and press enter. Can you see this is a KPI? It is changing. Oh, these are the things you can do with Excel, right? Yeah, and click it. You have the total. You can call it total gender. Total gender. And put this right. This can be right, and we have this as this. Border around it. So total gender breakdown, and make it bold. So the way you click, it is dynamic. These are what KPIs. So these are, you can even off. You don't want to see. So these are the things you can do with pivot table. Right. See you some other time.